Okay, thank you. Thanks for the confirmation. And today we are going to discuss about the uh, T-shaped competencies. So why they are important and how the demand is keep increasing on this T-shaped competencies. So do you have any idea what is T-shaped competencies? You can type it in the chat window. Manoj, Deepak, Jane. Okay, fine. No problem. Learn it. Okay, so how many of you heard about this T-shaped competencies? Okay, no problem. Let's explain what is the T-shaped competencies and how it really coined this name. It's actually long back coined by the people, but it was not much used. But during the pandemic time and post-pandemic time, there was a global survey conducted by the McKinsey, and 87% of the leaders they acknowledge that there are skill gaps in their workforce. So uh, they responded to the survey with very challenging path what they have on this skill side, and also um, no clear plan on how to overcome that. And this pandemic time made this issue more urgent because people started working from home, and there are remotely managing, a lot of collaborations are uh, and day by day a lot of reskilling uh, requirements started. So this T-shaped competencies are the combination of skills as well as the knowledge. It is not only the skills, so it's a skill plus knowledge. So that's where that competency will come, and that is the combination of competency. So many times people misunderstand that when they have the knowledge, they are quoting they have the skill. When they have the skill, they think they are having the knowledge, but both skill and knowledge only will give the competency. Um, so in the hiring trend, if you look at when employees recruited by the organizations, they were more looking on the specialist uh, rather than those who are generalist. That's what happened pre-pandemic time, till pre-pandemic time. So they want more specialist on many areas, like so they don't want the generalist much. But uh, we are currently on the cusp of the hybrid model, where the most valuable employees are interdisciplinary. So we cannot say that this person do only this work, or this person knows only this domain or only this technology. So that kind of expectations are there, and even the demand is more towards to that. The individuals earlier, like I can give a simple example, the project managers were playing only pure project manager role. Last 4 5 years, it was expected they should know the technical as well as the functional knowledge. So that's kind of a importance given to the project management competency. And now if you look at, they need to know so many methodologies, and they should know people management, process management. It's keep on getting added to the people, the project manager role. So like that, every, like developer also similarly, tester also similarly, mechanical engineer also similarly, even in the automotive side also, or manufacturing, or you take the healthcare side, even on the doctor's side, it's not that they are only specialist on one area. So they should know some of the general physician things also, even though they learned or they studied during the COVID time, like many such specialists become the generalist, and they have done a lot of help to the people to overcome the challenges. So every industry is needed this kind of a generalist. And while this generalist know a little about a lot of subjects, but the I-shaped vertical um, professionals, they are the experts in the single area. So earlier, like the people who are very vertical and who has the specialized, they are in demand. But now, along with that vertical, they should have the horizontal knowledge on many things. So that's how this T-shaped competency is getting more demand. And this T-shaped person is earlier known as a subject matter expert uh, in at least one area, and having knowledgeable or skilled in several others. So now if you look at it is not only one expert one area. They should be expert in 2 to 3 areas, and also should be knowledgeable in multiple skills and having multiple domain knowledges, and having expertise in several areas also. So that is the combination is coming, and sometimes knowledge is demanding more, sometimes skills are demanding more. And the vertical bar on the letter T represents the depth of your skills, and the skills and the expertise in a single field. That is what this the vertical bar represents in the T. Whereas the horizontal bar in your T-shaped competency, it's your breadth or ability to collaborate across the disciplines with the experts in other areas, and apply the knowledge to areas beyond your primary field. So earlier people will be, you would have heard about that. They are expert in this area. They know only this much. They don't come beyond their primary area. But now they have to come beyond their primary area also. Maybe I will share the screen. That will give more. I will give the window, this T-shaped. So this is the one example, like you can see that how much you are broad and how much you are deep in one area. So even that one area, you need to have a multiple. So that is the expectations are coming. And this is how now the T-shaped is getting bulged. And earlier, like T-shape was very thin, so now it is getting bulged. And these are the many disciplines and many system. Horizontally, you should know. You have to be deep in 1 to 2 areas. So some of the boundary crossing skills are mentioned here. These are very much required for growing your career, as well as the organizations needed the person who has this kind of skills and knowledge. Okay, let's come back to the screen later. I will stop sharing that. Um, I hope you got the understanding what is T-shaped and how this deep and broad things are working. Let's see the question. What are the characteristics of T-shaped professional? Okay, I explained. And what are the main difference between I-shaped and T-shaped? See, I-shaped is the people are who more specialist, and in that earlier, like the horizontal bar is known as a generalist. Now the specialist and generalist known as the subject matter expert. Okay, and the subject matter expert in not only one area, primary area. They may have a primary, secondary, and tertiary, multiple areas also. But they may be very strong in 60% in one primary area, 30% in secondary area, tertiary like 10%, or some of them like 50, 25, 25. So these are the segregation. If you are looking um, energy side also, people categorizing like this, and the oil and gas. If you go to electrical side also, like people should have the primary and the electronics should be the secondary one, and you should have some knowledge about the civil also, because when you are getting into the infrastructure project, it is more required. So don't think that it is more applicable to the IT. It is more and more needed for all the industries. In the automotive, earlier people will say the diesel specialized people, then petrol specialized, and now electric vehicles. So now you should know all the three variants, but still in which category or in which type of roads it perform well. So that kind of knowledge it's required, and even different segments also people are expecting this kind of a multiple uh, specialist and multiple generalist work together. And if the individual has that much of capability and capacity, it's well and good. Otherwise they need to develop. That is the upskilling is very much required in across all the industry. Okay, and maybe we'll come back to the screen sharing later. And I want to take you what are the responsibilities and these people may have, because they may excel in their core responsibilities, but they may not be able to perform their task effectively on the other areas. So for that, in addition to whatever the skills they have, so they need to gain the proficiency in other areas also. For that, they need to work with the other teams or other functions or other domain people or other subject matter expert areas for some time or every day. Like for example, if you have a 8 hours productivity, 6 hours you should work on your primary, like one hour on the secondary and 1 hour on your tertiary area, so that you can become a T-shaped competent person down the line in 6 months to 1 year. So that's the way you have to develop your competency and become a T-shaped guys. And your responsibility, same time, you cannot take the excuse or making excuse to the primary areas deliverables. Since you are learning some other areas, you cannot miss the primary area. So you have to give the first time right or the first time error free uh, product or services on your primary area. Along with that, you need to gain this secondary and tertiary. People may say that in the primary area itself we have so much of things to do, where we have the time to do the secondary and the tertiary one. See, when if you think you don't have the time, then that is the competency you may need to build first. Time management is the first thing you have to build, then only you can build this T-shaped competencies. So if you understand your responsibility in your organization or in your business as an entrepreneur, if you're doing, you need to understand your responsibility uh, while you are doing, delivering the present situation, but you need to get prepared for your future also. Otherwise you are not related to what the changes are happening on your industry, you will be outdated. So that's the key thing you need to understand when you are becoming the T-shaped, when you are developing your T-shaped competencies. To start uh, with the to cross train on some of the areas, uh, first you need to identify what are the major tasks and the skills in a specific area of your organization having the huge demand. Okay, so that you may develop some skills and knowledge on some area, but that is not the really demand in your organization. Okay, if you now look at in the industry revolutionization is happening, many 4 point industry 4.0 it's expecting people to adopt more and more digital areas, like try to become more digitized. So it is not only about the technology. Okay, so the moment we talk about digital, everybody thinking, like any industry you take now, finance, insurance, healthcare, retail, logistics, have manufacturing, uh, most of the places this digital transformation is happening. So for that, many people thinking that adopting some technology or implementing the technology, legacy system to the only thing it's coming under the digital transformation. It's uh, it's one of the part of the digital transformation. There is a mindset. Mindset is required for this digital transformation. There's culture is required in the organization, in the team to do the digital transformation. You need lot of process changes should be happened in your organization. There may be a new business model required in your organization. So or your organization may be adopting the new business model for this digital transformation. So for that, you need to upskill and reskill yourself. And many leaders are forming the teams to enable or enhance this digital transformation across the organization to adopt. And they are forming a small team. They are becoming the change agents or champions of the digital transformation. And this should be a senior persons of the organization. So the leaders of the organization be the change agents first, and then they can create the next level of the people as the change agents for this digital transformation. Many times they are delegating to the next level people, and the next level people not having much understanding, or they are the one having much understanding about this one, and they are driving it, but the leader is not having much knowledge or skills on driving this digital transformation. So for uh, um, since I'm taking this digital transformation example, this is happening across the industry. It is more applicable to all the industry people. That's why I'm taking it. There are a lot of cultural transformations also happening, and digital transformation required culture, process, business model, mindset. So many things it is required. So that's why technology, process. So that's why I took that broader area, so you can able to relate for your industry. And if you are forming the smaller team to run this transformation in your organization, they can think about picking up some of the skills which organizations can sponsor and make them to learn it and develop it. But many times the smaller and mid organizations, they may not be able to afford to learn that or spend for learning all this one. And that's where the MOOC platforms are very much available. You can ask your team members to utilize that MOOC platform to learn many things. Don't insist them to get the certifications. Like at least if they get the knowledge or skill by learning through that platform, you can give them an opportunity to do some POC or pilot, or prove them they gain that knowledge. So many times people say that they need to spend to get that certificate. See, again, that certificate they may spend and get that, but applicability of that whatever they learn from there not happening in your organization. It is not creating any value to your organization or to your associates or to your clients. That is not going to help. So it may be good to have those certifications as part of the profile, but the knowledge and the skills what they are gaining from that MOOC platforms are very much important. And along with that, technical and functional skills what you are learning, there are then this people who are going to involve skills through platform really helping many people. That's why I'm not promoting that. Like that, there are many platforms are there, so they can use this cognitive skills from those platforms also. And a lot of remote learning opportunities are there. It's just one keystrokes away. People are doing it, but still many people are com- not comfortable to doing on that, and they want the books to help them. uh, this is more challenging for the people, especially on the midlife crisis, who are there, who worked for almost 15, 20 years on same technology or same function, and now they are struggling to come over the challenges what they are having in front of them, when they have to upskill or reskill through these platforms. So they are more comfortable on the book. But if you are book, you may need to spend a lot, or you may not get as many books for developing such skills. But on the platforms, through the remote learning, you are getting ample of opportunities, and many courses are there, free courses are there. You don't need to spend much. At least you will get the idea. Maybe when you really want to specialize on that, you can spend and get that, or organizations can sponsor. So small medium companies can utilize as much as possible, and many of the big organizations already having the tie-up with uh, the L&D, LMS platforms, and they are tying up with the many organizations like soft skill soft, like organizations are helping them to build the competencies. But small medium organizations, you can pick up this move platform and ask your team members to develop such uh, cross trainings. If possible, in you can ask them to do this kind of skill development and gain the knowledge. Then you can get the freelance people to develop them in the long run. And if you look at this T-shaped team, and they are the people really jumped during the crisis time. And as I gave the example of doctors, there are so many like people, even on the housekeeping side, the people who were doing only housekeeping, so they learned the CPR, and they helped a lot of nurses and a lot of the service people, like from the voluntary service team of people were gone to the hospitals, and they gone to the remote areas, and they helping the people on having some knowledge about the first aid, and with the guidance of the professions. You may question that the little knowledge is dangerous to do something. It's not that you are going to do it alone, or you are going to treat them on your own knowledge. There will be experts will be there with their guidance. You are going to do that. See, this deep knowledge person will be available, and the generalist people will be there to take care of multiple things with the guidance of this deep knowledge person, so that on one time you can take care of the multiple things. So if the senior executives will have to make a jump to this stage and turn champions of T-shaped competencies people, you need to have the people from different levels. If you are worrying about only the people on the mid level, or the people who are in the junior level or the early stage of career, then in the future it will be a difficult, because um, the day by day the demand for the T-shaped competency is increasing. You may need to have a tie-up with the academia also, and you need to think about how to create a lot of T-shaped graduates also. So you may need to develop the curriculum and do that. There are organizations are doing. We can count those organizations like a very like Oracle or AWS, very Microsoft, very leading MNCs are doing. very few smaller organizations are having that tie-up, but the big chunk of mid-sized and small-size organizations, like 60 to 65% of the organizations are missing that. If you develop the future T-shaped graduates, that will be um, a great move to fulfill your future requirements and build a team which will deliver the productivity manner from the day one. So today I'm just stopping. This is the part one. We will cover the rest of the things in the part two. If any questions are there, we will take the questions now. What are the qualities required to be a tea leader? See, if if you think you are good in one subject matter expert area, slowly and you are already delivering that competencies with that help of that competencies in one industry, you need to look at how you can do it in other industry also. And the leaders are always expected to have this T-shaped. Okay, so it is not that the I will always compare with the manager versus leaders. The managers are ready to manage with the existing thing what is available. They may do some changes, and then they keep continuing to that. But forcing the what is available, skills and knowledge. Otherwise, are we having the competent people in our team, in our organization, so in our industry? So based on that, they will do that. So the T-shaped leader should have a understanding, or should have some prediction about the futuristic things which are going to happen. They should have knowledge and skills about uh, what is there at least now, future in the sense what is needed for next 3 months, what is needed for next 6 months, and what is needed for 1 year. That is how we can now define the future, because earlier people were defining 3 years, 5 years. Now it's very difficult after this post pandemic. You may expect certain things like on the ESG side, the environmental side. We are seeing a lot of climate changes are happening. For that sustainability risk, what is the T-shaped competencies are required, that we will see in the next part. But for overcoming such sustainable for the sustainability risk, this T-shaped leaders should have some of the challenging attitude, and take the risk for certain areas to try out some of the competencies. Should not wait until you are getting pressurized from your peer organization, or from your customer, or from your industry. You start early. So that kind of risk appetite is required for the T-shaped leader, and they should have this predictive analysis, and they should have knowledge on the multiple industries also, and multiple functions also, and multiple expertise of earlier, like for example the CFOs were more focusing on finance, now then slowly got into operations, so now they slowly got into even human capital. So they are getting into multiple areas. So similarly, the HR were earlier taking care of only people management. Now they are also becoming the business partners. So each and every area is now needed this kind of upskilling and reskilling, and multiple skills are required. In the next time when we see that, you will understand more. So now we are just opened up. Maybe you can do a little bit research on this T-shaped. You can come up with more question, so that when next part we discuss on this T-shaped competencies, that will be more interactive also. Okay, what else? I think some delivery. I hope for now it is recovered. Do you have any other questions? And specifically having these two parts, so people, those who are not aware about what T-shaped, maybe you can explore some more time, like maybe in the next week when we have the session, you can have some idea, and I'll give more insight how this T-shaped competencies are built in many organizations, and how the individuals can do it, and what is that in futuristic uh, things, people have to look into that, and the organizations also, especially on the small and medium organizations, they are the one, the SME sectors are very much uh, needed this one. Maybe the bigger organizations have the separate analyst or the research team are doing it, but the small and medium-sized organizations may missing this part. These are the experience from uh, with the SME sector people. So they were not aware about this kind of T-shaped competencies building in their organization. Okay, thanks, Manoj. Maybe you can explore on your own and do some research on this. Okay, hope Deepak, you got the answer for your question. Okay, thanks, Zain. It's very informative session. Okay, thank you. I think it's we are covered few things only. There are more to cover on this topic. We'll catch up next week, same time. Until then, have a great week, and thanks for attending today's session. Thank you so much. Thank you.